man suddenly stands up inside an airport terminal. He looks terrified. Not nervous, not stressed. Terrified. He whispers something to the airport doctor, backs away slowly, then suddenly turns and runs. Not toward the exit, not toward security, but out the door, across the parking lot, over a fence, and straight into the forest. His bags were still inside, his passport was still inside, and he was never seen again. In July of 2014, a 28-year-old German man named Lars Mittank traveled to Bulgaria for what was supposed to be a simple vacation with friends, a week of beaches, sun, parties, then a flight back home to Germany. But on the day he was supposed to return, something happened inside Varna Airport that turned this normal vacation into one of the strangest disappearances ever caught on camera. Because Lars Mittank didn't just vanish. The moment he disappeared was recorded. And even today, after millions of people have watched that footage, no one can explain what he was running from. In the summer of 2014, Lars Mittank and 4 of his friends traveled from Germany to Golden Sands, a popular beach resort near the city of Varna, Bulgaria. Golden Sands is known for its nightlife, beach bars, cheap drinks, tourists from all over Europe. For the group of friends, the trip was exactly what they wanted. Days spent on the beach, nights spent partying. Everything seemed normal, until the final night of their trip. That night, Lars got into an argument with a group of men outside a bar. No one knows exactly what the argument was about. Some reports say it involved football rivalries. Others say it was just drunk tourists arguing. But the situation escalated, and at some point during the fight, Lars was punched in the head, hard enough to injure his ear. The next day, Lars went to a local doctor. The doctor examined him and diagnosed him with a ruptured eardrum, which meant one thing: Lars couldn't fly yet. Flying with that injury could cause serious damage due to pressure changes during takeoff. So while his friends flew back to Germany as planned, Lars had to stay behind for a few more days. Alone, Lars checked into a small hotel near the airport to wait for his recovery. At first, everything seemed fine. He kept in contact with his mother back in Germany. But during their phone calls, she noticed something strange. Lars sounded nervous, agitated, almost paranoid. He told her that the men from the fight were looking for him. He believed they were connected to some kind of criminal gang. He said they were trying to find him. His mother tried to calm him down, but Lars insisted something was wrong. During one phone call, he told her something chilling. He said, "They're trying to kill me." Then he added something even stranger. He believed the hotel he was staying in had been tampered with. He said someone had followed him there, and he thought the hotel's elevator had been manipulated to trap him. His mother became worried, but she assumed it was just stress from the fight and being alone in a foreign country. Still, something clearly wasn't right. At some point during his stay, Lars suddenly decided to leave his hotel. He told his mother he didn't feel safe there anymore. He believed the men who attacked him were watching him. So he checked into a cheaper hotel closer to Varna Airport. But even there, his behavior continued to change. The hotel owner later reported that Lars seemed extremely anxious. He kept looking around, checking windows, watching the street, as if he believed someone was coming for him. Then, on the morning of July 8th, 2014, Lars took a taxi to Varna Airport. He had been cleared by a doctor to fly. He was finally going home. But the strange part of the story, was just beginning. When Lars arrived at the airport, he looked calm. Security footage shows him walking normally through the terminal. He checked in, Everything looked routine. But at some point before boarding, Lars began to feel uneasy again. He approached the airport medical office, possibly to confirm that it was safe for him to fly. Inside the small examination room, a doctor began checking his ear. But during the examination, Lars suddenly froze. He turned his head toward the hallway outside the office. Then he whispered something. The doctor later said Lars looked extremely frightened, like he had just seen something terrifying. Then Lars said something strange. He pointed toward the door and told the doctor, "I don't want to die here." The doctor, confused, tried to calm him down. But Lars suddenly stood up. He backed toward the door. Then he turned and ran. What happened next is one of the most famous airport surveillance videos ever recorded. Security cameras captured Lars running out of the medical office. He looked panicked, like someone was chasing him. But no one was behind him. He ran through the terminal, past travelers, past airport staff. Then he sprinted out the main entrance doors, outside the airport into the parking lot, and then he climbed over a tall airport fence. On the other side of the fence was a field, and beyond that, a forest. Lars ran across the field, disappearing into the trees. And that was the last confirmed sighting of him. When Lars missed his flight, his mother immediately became concerned. She contacted Bulgarian authorities. At first, the police believed Lars had simply run away intentionally. But when they reviewed the airport footage, they realized something was very wrong. Lars didn't look like someone escaping responsibility. He looked like someone running for his life. Search teams began combing the area around the airport, fields, roads, forests. They searched for days, then weeks, but they found nothing. No body, no clothing, no belongings, no signs of struggle. It was as if Lars Mittank had simply vanished into thin air. Over the years, several theories have tried to explain what happened to Lars. The first theory is paranoia caused by a head injury. Remember, Lars had been punched in the head during the fight. Some experts believe he may have suffered a concussion, which can cause confusion, paranoia, and hallucinations. If that's true, like the men he believed were chasing him might not have existed at all. But that still leaves one question. If Lars was hallucinating, what happened after he ran into the forest? Because even people in a confused state don't usually disappear without leaving any trace. Another theory suggests Lars may have been targeted by criminals. Maybe the men from the fight really were looking for him. Maybe Lars believed they were at the airport. Maybe he ran to escape them. But investigators found no evidence that anyone was actually chasing him. The final theory is perhaps the most disturbing. Some believe Lars may have suffered a sudden psychological breakdown, a mix of stress, injury, alcohol, and fear. And in that moment of panic inside the airport medical office, his mind simply snapped. But again, that still doesn't explain how someone can run into an open area near an airport and disappear forever. A few days after Lars disappeared, a truck driver reported seeing a man matching his description, walking along a rural road about 15 kilometers from the airport. The man looked disoriented, confused, like he had been wandering for days. But by the time authorities investigated the sighting, the man was gone. No cameras, no witnesses, no confirmation, and no other credible sightings have ever been verified. Today, the case of Lars Mittank remains one of the most baffling disappearances in modern history. Because unlike most missing persons cases, this one didn't start with a mystery. It started with video evidence. We can see Lars. We can see him running. We can see the exact moment he disappears. But the one thing we can't see is what scared him enough to run in the first place. Did he imagine a threat? Was someone actually after him? Did something happen in the forest? Or is Lars Mittank still out there somewhere, living under a different identity? No one knows. But one thing is certain. On a quiet summer morning in 2014, a man ran out of an airport into a forest and was never seen again.